And a lot of people start on a wellness journey because they have a belief that they're not okay as they are. And that belief will set them up for this continual quest. So the invitation is really to actually acknowledge that you are whole. There's a part of you that's already perfect deep inside, and perfect doesn't mean that there's nothing we'll need to grow or evolve, but that really it's about opening to the fullness of this moment and this day, and that's how I think we can access our wellness.
Welcome to Kelly Talks brand. I'm Kelly, a Chinese living in Canada and a former landscape designer, now embarking on a new journey into wellness and personal branding. Here I share my own reflections and also sit down with inspiring guests in a series called Tea with Kelly. Together we explore stories of personal branding, lifestyle, and inner growth to help you find your own directions. Please subscribe if you'd like to join me on this journey of growth and discovery. Hi Chantal, thank you so much for coming today. For those meeting you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself?
Thanks for having me on your YouTube channel, Kelly. I'm Chantal, and my pronouns are she, her, and right now I'm sitting with you as your yoga teacher and guide. I consider myself a student of yoga, a lover of all things wellness, nature, nutrition, horses, somatics, a lot of things could describe who I am and what I do.
I see that you describe yourself as a mother, entrepreneur, and cancer thriver on your website. Could you share a moment when those roles felt most in conflict, and how would you find your way back to balance?
So being a mother and an entrepreneur and a cancer thriver, I did go through a cancer chapter, but I don't necessarily identify as a cancer thriver anymore. It's on my website, but it's not something I think about.
Right.
So that doesn't necessarily come up as something to be in conflict. If anything, that was something that helped me live more. As far as mother, that's a lifelong role that does sometimes feel conflict, but it'll always be my priority. And so the entrepreneurial would be the sort of, will come after my yoga of motherhood journey. And they have come in conflict in the sense of they both require so much love and attention.
Absolutely.
So over the years, there have been times where it feels like I've had to make sacrifices in one to support the other. But I would say it's about prioritizing what matters most. And for me, that's about being a mama and also being myself and doing what I love to do. So that, at this season in my life, my son's a little bit older, so I have a little bit more free time to put towards my creativity, but it's definitely a struggle to balance it all.
Yeah, and it's so cool that we just learned prenatal yoga. You match the theme of having a children or child, giving birth to a child and taking care of that child, and how much time and effort you have to put into all that process. You've said that well-being isn't a destination, it's a daily choice. What does that look like for you, especially on your tougher days?
Well-being is a state of being. So we often think about wellness as something we need to do or somewhere we need to get to. But even viewing it that way sets us up for this never-ending quest to fill ourselves from the outside.
Absolutely.
So well-being to me is a daily choice in that nothing is perfect unless we embrace it as it is.
That's
so
true.
Being well to me is every day embracing what comes, working through what is right in front of you, acknowledging that is what you're meant to be doing, and how can you do it in the most and liberated way. But that whatever the current moment is exactly what you need to grow.
I love that, because I feel like nowadays everyone is so stressed out about what happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future. Few people actually focus on being present with the exact current moment.
And a lot of people start on a wellness journey because they have a belief that they're not okay as they are, and that belief will set them up for this continual quest. So the invitation is really to actually acknowledge that you are whole. There's a part of you that's already perfect deep inside, and perfect doesn't mean that there's nothing we'll need to grow or evolve, but that really it's about opening to the fullness of this moment and this day, and that's how I think we can access our wellness.
I love how yoga give us that space to just be present on the mat, because you're not going anywhere. Your body is here. Your mind might not be here, but at least for moments in your yoga practice, your mind and your body are currently in this moment. You also speak about the importance of rituals. So could you share a simple ritual that feels grounding for you, and maybe
one other could try?
Yeah, rituals to me are all about, again, a practical way to align to the magic of every day. And rituals are really powerful ways to mark the transitions of time.
For sure.
And so they help us to integrate and to prepare for what's next. So I like to do seasonal rituals. And if I was to think of a grounding ritual that I like to do on a daily basis, would be to feel my feet on the ground and look around the room where I find myself, and to really focus on something that feels really beautiful or appealing, or that feels like a resource for me. And that's something you can do anywhere. So just a simple ritual of feeling your feet on the ground and then opening your senses to something that feels pleasurable in your environment.
And do you have like a backyard or front yard you can step on, like bare grass?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I live on a farm, so I spend a lot of time outside and a lot of time with my feet in the ground.
I heard like beneficial to like just step on barefoot on grounds or sands. It's like you're connecting with Mother Earth, and that release all the discharge kind of into the earth.
Yeah, I usually have shoes on, but it's be even more powerful barefoot. But even if you have shoes on, and if you live in a big city, you can still connect to the ground beneath you energetically by visualizing it.
Yeah, for sure. Before the pandemic, you led retreats around the world and taught at European sort of yoga festivals. What did those experiences teach you about holding space for transformation?
I still teach some retreats. I got to teach a retreat in France, and I'm teaching a retreat in Costa Rica this winter.
Awesome.
And my experience teaching in all kinds of different settings has really taught me that creating space is really giving people space to listen to them fully and for them to connect to themselves. So in a lot of ways, it's taught me to just really allow people to be where they are, and that everybody just wants to feel seen and be heard, and that those spaces provide an opportunity for us to step out of our daily life, reconnect to who we really are, and that's something that'll happen naturally if you give people the time and the opportunity to do that, such as at a festival or at a retreat.
Are people coming from mostly Canada or around the world to those retreats in Europe?
Yeah, a lot of people are coming from Canada and the US, because I co-teach with a lot of friends that are American or European. So we tend to draw people from all over North America and a little bit of Europe as well.
Awesome, that's very cool. So today you're leading both a nutrition diploma and a yoga teacher training at Rhodes Wellness. What excites you most about mentoring the next generation of practitioners?
Yeah, I feel really inspired by the amount of people that continue to come to learn about wellness. And it's clear to me that even though we're in a really challenging time, 2025, with all of the uncertainty and
news flying around.
the news, that people are really drawn to learning about wellness. And what I'm inspired by is it seems like more and more people are willing to take responsibility for their well-being, for their health, their happiness. And a lot of people come to these programs because they want to help others. So it's inspiring to see that it's a field that continues to grow and expand, and I feel really honored to be part of it.
And just today was the new group in the fall yoga teacher training that just came in. And I say hello. It was a great group of people.
Yeah, wonderful. And that's the way it is. It seems like the people that are drawn to these programs give me hope, because it shows me that,
there's hope to change the world for a better universe.
And there's so much pressure when we look around, like, wow, there's a lot of things that need change right now, and it can feel really overwhelming. But in these programs, people get to connect with each other, and you can see how people really come online and realize that they have something to contribute, and that it's not about fixing the whole world, but what are the little things that we can do in our own little circle of the universe, and that's all we can do, and how that will really ripple out to affect greater change.
Yeah, and I think it started with yourself, right? When you change, your world change. I remember we did a little visualization meditation of like the parasympathetic, like when you feel stressed, how do you view the world? When you're scared, how you see the world? When you feel grateful, the world changes as your view changes. It's like always originate from just yourself.
Yeah, it's there's a saying like, be careful what you look for because you'll find it.
Yeah, and ask and you shall receive.
So it's really important, and that's part of what yoga teaches us is discernment, because our mind is so active and so easily hijacked in a lot of ways that if we're not really discerning about what we're choosing to pay attention to, our attention could easily get pulled in directions that are not beneficial.
Absolutely.
So even choosing the quality of, you know, what's my attitude today, or what am I going to look for? And that's why this ritual of grounding and looking for something that feels pleasurable automatically sends your nervous system information that, you know what, even though there's a lot going on in this moment, there's also something deep down inside that's okay. And then from there you can resource your creativity, and instead of just reacting and adding to all the chaos, you can be
I love that.
a little bit more regulated and create something beautiful instead of just reacting to more hard stuff.
We definitely need that in today's society.
Totally.
And you bring together nutrition, Ayurveda, yoga, and equine facilitated wellness, which is really cool. I haven't done that before. How do you decide what to bring into, you know, a client's journey when they come to see you?
Yeah. Well, mostly my clients come to see me to do work with the horses, and I also do some online wellness coaching. So the nutrition and the Ayurveda is more of the online people, and then if people are coming in person, it's because they want to work with the horses. So it's really what people want, you know, what's the entryway that they want to connect with. They all do intertwine in some way, because for me, the horses and nutrition and Ayurveda, they're all about really reconnecting to the earth, to our body, to our senses. And that's really where our spiritual life happens. It's in the here and now. It's in the way that we breathe, the way we show up. So I love all of the different work that I do, but somehow they fit together.
Yeah, you know how that's, because I read about Steve Jobs' book, because like you only see the dots connecting as you look back.
Yes.
And I love how you're just so versatile. There's so many things they've done. I'm like, how does this lady done so many things for the past years? And that makes that unique. We call it personal branding, or like your position in this industry, because you bring so many different angles and create this universe or world of yourself that you can present to other people.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that it feels presentable, because sometimes I just follow what I'm passionate about, and then it leads to the next thing, and it leads to the next thing, and I'm a voracious learner, and so that's something that continues to just guide me and really follow what lights me up. So,
and that takes courage to just decide, okay, I want to do this, and I'll move forward with it, right? Because a lot of other voices telling you this might not be right, how do you change directions? But I applaud you for taking direction and taking on your own hands.
Yeah, and I do think that's part of what my cancer journey taught me, was we don't know how long we have, and
that's true.
We got to live in a way that we'll look back and be like, you know what, I did all the things I wanted to do while I was here. So
live for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're just talking about the fall equinox, which is tomorrow, September 21st. It's such a potent moment of balance, and that you mentioned that you're also hosting Harvest Glow, an equinox cleanse and ceremony tomorrow. So could you share a little bit about the inspiration behind this event and what participants can expect?
Yeah, so Harvest Glow is a cleanse and ceremony that I'm hosting tomorrow on Vancouver Island. And it's inspired by the time of year that we find ourselves in, which is the fall equinox, as you mentioned, which is this balance point between light and dark. It's known as the second harvest in the wheel of the year. So the harvest time would have been when people are gathering the wheat and the things from the fields and bringing them in. And so it's a potent time to really reflect back on this last half of the year since, or you can even look back since last fall, but definitely since, you know, the last few months, and look at what are the things that you've created? What have you achieved? What are you proud of? Sort of what's that inner harvest that you're gathering? And when you do that, it also helps to build energy for the coming months of winter, where naturally we are invited to go a little bit more inward. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, what happens in the fall is that our Vata dosha, which is space and air elements, start to get things are starting to dry up. And so to balance that and make sure we're going into this next season, we really want to focus on things that are warming and heating and grounding and that help to provide that inner glow.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's inspired by what do we need to move into this next phase as balanced as we can be emotionally, energetically, and also physically. And so equinox times are also really good times to reset and revisit your habits. What do you want to keep doing? What's not working? And realign so that you can essentially radiate your inner glow from the inside out. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow.
Absolutely, that sounds amazing. And I also love how it's like the pivotal point between light and dark when it's equal and it gets darker. And Vancouver, we know it rains a lot in the winter. People tend to get seasonal depression or just feel gloomy all the time. And it's sort of adding to the energy, the fire in your body that you can continue to burn throughout the winter, which is a great initiative.
It's meant to fortify us for the months ahead. That's what inspired that.
Awesome. So what daily or seasonal rhythms are grounding you most right now, especially living on Vancouver Island? And traveling back and forth between there and the mainland?
My animals are my grounding because every day I have to wake up and no matter if it's raining or shining, I have to get outside, go feed my horses. And I love it because it feels very satisfying, even though some days I'd rather stay in bed. There's something really fulfilling about working with my hands and like mucking out and feeding and seeing the progress of what I've done and knowing that they're taken care of. There's something very grounding and meditative about that.
How many horses do you have?
I have 3 horses.
3 horses?
Yeah.
And they have their own names?
Oh,
and
yeah.
different characters?
Yeah, they're each their own beautiful beings. I also have 2 goats and a dog.
Goats have a character.
Yes. So my animals keep me humble. They make me laugh and remind me not to take myself too seriously.
So
that's
lovely.
Yeah.
Give me some photos. I can show it to the audience.
Okay, I will do that.
If you would give one piece of advice to a woman who feels like she's holding it all together but losing touch with herself, what would you say to her?
Yeah, you're not meant to hold it all together. You're not meant to do it alone. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to do less. And it's if that we can do it all. I believe that we can do it all, just not all at the same time. And so there will be times where we actually have to put some things down so that we can focus on, the most important thing right now. Something that's interesting is the word priorities. It used to only be a singular word. It's not till recently that you could have more than one.
One priority.
So priority used to be the one thing. And so this invitation to really connect to what is the most essential right now, knowing that life will change, seasons will change. There'll be a time where you can focus on something else, but to take the pressure off of doing it all, being everything for everyone. No one's meant to live that way.
Yeah, and I think the whole practice of yoga and meditation, just sit with your mind. Of course, your mind is probably racing in the first 10 minutes as you sit there. But you'll sometimes like just in the shower or walking or just like in my quiet space, there's one voice that comes up that will be the next thing I'm focusing on.
Beautiful.
But first you got to create a space for you to think and relax and connect with your body.
Yeah, and I would add to it, trust that inner voice. Your body knows. And so if you feel like you're holding it all together, try to connect to that part of you that knows, whether that's in the shower or when you're in your nature. Find ways to access that part of you and have the courage to follow it.
We're coming to your end. Last question. What's next for you that feels alive or exciting?
Wow, that's a really great question. Well, I'm currently creating a series for an equestrian membership that's all about embodied, liberated living. And it's a blend of realigning with nature, as well as tuning into our own body. And in this context, is working with the horses. And liberation's all about our mind, our thoughts, and then living and how we lead with the horses can also teach us a lot about how we lead our own lives. So I'm in a very creative phase right now where I'm putting something together. It's like right there. So that's what I'm excited about, is bringing that to life and putting it to form in some way.
I want to see your horses one day.
I'll send you photos or come visit me on the farm.
Yeah, because I never work with horses. I've ride horses like in maybe when I was doing camping trips, but that I don't really connect with them
Yeah.
on a deeper level, but I think they're really smart.
They
Like horses.
are, yeah, and the reason they're so, beautiful to work with from a wellness capacity is they're so sensitive, and they're
Right.
so, they really do reflect back to us our own energy, and so they can help us to see our blind spots in a way that no other creatures can.
Yeah.
And they really depend on safety, and so a big part of it is how do you cultivate. How do you become the safe human? Emotional safety in a lot of ways. And so they teach you how to regulate your nervous system, and they really invite you to be honest, because they can sense if somebody's feeling something but presenting something else.
Oh, yeah, because they don't read words, they just sense their
They
energy.
feel
right?
energy, yeah. And so they can teach us a lot about frequency and being, honest with how we feel and how we present. They're amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to working that one
And
day.
they're masters of meditation. So they spend a lot of time, I would say, in more of an inward meditative state. And we say in the world of, the horses is go back to grazing, because horses will have a moment where they react to something.
Yeah.
And then they'll find some way to let it go, and they go back to grazing. So 90% of their time is spent grazing.
That's so cool. I want to live like a horse.
I want to live like that too. And so in being with them, we realize how often they let go and they downregulate, and that's why they have so much horsepower.
Oh, right. They can run in distance.
But they only run when they need to.
Right.
They're wonderful energy preservers. Whereas we'll just keep running, we'll keep thinking
Until
of
we
the thing, and we won't go back to grazing, right?
No.
So even that in itself is a huge lesson that they can teach us. And they really invite us to slow down, because we need to be present when we're with them, because they're 1,200-pound flight animals, right?
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, so slowing down, noticing what you're feeling, and going back to grazing.
Oh, awesome. That could be your slogan.
Go back to grazing.
Grazing.
Yeah.
Okay, as we're about to close, you're my first guest on my podcast. So if you were to ask the next person, what question would you give it to them?
My question would be inspired by Mary Oliver, and it would be, what is it that you plan to do with your one and wild, precious life?